excuse me? Why are you doing that? Why would you do that? It makes no sense at all. And by the way, I know folks who did that, who are no longer alive, who knew kingdom things. I'm not going to say names, but let's just say at a restaurant, they would say, oh, here it comes, and they'd say a derogatory, stereotypical name about a certain ethnicity. I was aghast. Like, are you kidding me right now? Did you hear what you just said? That's it, like 8 shades of stupid on every level, what you just said. And it's ignorant, and it's offensive, and it's dumb, and it's evil, and it's wrong. So are you serious right now? And they just keep on. Or there'll be a guy that'll say something about a woman walking by. And I'm like, are you kidding me right now? How does that knitting together? Okay, are you all pleasing to God when you're saying you know all this about this? Just like 2 seconds later, you say this. That's not knit together. It's not affecting. This has been compartmentalized from this. As if this is okay because you have all this. It's not how it works, moron. You can't do that. It doesn't work. That's why in doctors, for example, the best way to explain it is like a doctor who have the best grades in the class and have the best surgical history on the books, but he or she has awful bedside manner. Awful bedside manner. They're just to the point. So it looks here that you have a 6.29% of living. I've done 6 of these. 5 have been okay. 1 is a death, horrible death, blood squirt everywhere in the whole room. Do you mind? Really? You have to go on? You say that to me? Please just give me some niceties, please. I mean, geez, you're just an automaton. Geez, you're not a bedside manner guy at all. Don't give me stats. Comfort me. Give me some peace, you know. But he or she's really good at the surgery. But you want both, right? You don't want a person who's just like a disgusting, because then it tenses you up. It stresses you out. So how good they are, your inability to be at a good place physically and mentally is going to cause a harder time for them, and now their acumen of how good they are is not going to be challenged more than usual because their bedside manner was awful. They both do go together, and people know that in the medical field, right? And that movie, Patch Adams, based on the real story, kind of proves that out, by the way. I love that movie, yeah.
Just like, you know, you can be well-pleasing to God, but the well-pleasing to men may not go with it. I'm thinking about Luke 6 when it says men may separate you from their company and say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. Yeah. It says rejoice, of course, when that happens.
Yeah, but I mean, this is just, when he says knit together, it's just, he's just trying to make sure you know you can't compartmentalize like your relationships and family, friends and work, or your knowledge about God and your time. People do it though. I see it all. I've seen people before come into, I've been this my life myself, get beat in the car and then go to this Catholic mass, and parents are all like, and I'm like, with a big smack mark on my face, and these fingers on my face, and I'm like, you're singing Kumbaya right now? Really? I got a welt from the belt on my butt right now? And you're singing Kumbaya. You're singing Jesus loves me. Really? 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 Then why don't you love me? You know, it was like, it's so offensive to me. It was like, this is not knit together at all. What happened 10 minutes ago is not gelling with what happened right now. Or I see folks come to a Kingdom Bible study, no offense, I've seen it happen, where they come in and then they fight all the way in, arguing, saying evil stuff, and then they all night say, oh, it's good, Jesus. And then they leave and it's like, well, what is that about? Like this little parenthetical of calm for the storm that entered and exited, and they were calm. That ain't cool. That's not knit together. And it's okay to be sinners. I mean, I'm a sinner too. I'm a doofus sinner. But you can't just act like that's not a big deal. I'm not saying I don't do that, because I've done that too. I'm a sinner. I've had issues. But you have to acknowledge those things and make right by those things. And don't keep repeating those things. And that's what he's talking about here. It's not about before men, and so just don't compartmentalize, and don't get that complacency of like, it's okay. If it keeps happening, I'll just keep asking God forgive me. No, that's a sign that somehow things aren't connecting. They're not being knitted together correctly. It shouldn't keep happening. Something's wrong. Something's not registering in your mind, your heart, or spirit. Something's wrong. So get back with God and ask Him to help you with this. Hebrews 13, 20, 21. Say, okay, you said you're going to do this, but somehow this keeps happening. It takes me away from you. They're not fitting together. Something's not fitting together. What is it? It's got to be me. It's not him. Right? It's always me. It's always us. So figure that out and ask God to help you. And I'll help you where I can too. Yes.
Todd had made several statements. I'm going to read them now. He said the word for children here is teknon. How does that affect the obeying your parents? Colossians 3:20.
Yeah, that's children in every capacity.
How would it change if the word for children was bigros or any other growth word description? I figured it out. The Greek words correlate to actually ages of the children?
Technon's the one tricky word of children, by the way. So mikros means, again, you're crawling, trying to walk, and then tadion means you're walking around, terrible tubes, and then technon means you're of adolescent age. So when you're adolescent age, it also is a term used for a generalization as well. We are all children of God, no matter if you're 75 or 7 or 5, okay? It doesn't matter, we're all children of God in a broad sense. So technon's the one word of the demarcation of the hierarchy of how you grow as a human and in spirit. That's more, it can be used in a general way and a specific way. And so it can be taken either way. So children and technon is the best way to have a, what I would call a telescopic view of whether in adolescent age to be subordinate, or whether you grow to be a mature adult, you're still a child under God to be subordinate, right? So either way, whether direct authority is your parents, when you're 75, when you're 75, your direct authority is God. Either way, you're a subordinate. So either way, you're still a technon, right? So when he says children, it's either one. It's a specific nature of our subordinate nature of our parents, our direct authority. God's indirect at that point when you're 75 years old. And God becomes direct authority in your life when you're 20. That's the age of accountability, when you're 20. So when you're 20 onward, then God's the direct authority over you. But you're still a technon, but not direct authority, they're indirect. So if they say, so if your parents say, I don't want you doing this, doing that, then you're supposed to listen to them and not do it. If there's no evil reason not to, if there's their wishes, you're supposed to honor them and say, no, okay, I won't do it. But as soon as you say, for example, you say, I want to get baptized, and they say, no, I don't want you to. Why not? Because I don't want you to. I don't want you to. Okay.
Is there like an age?
You can't do it. You can't, as a child, you don't have the right, they have to allow you to do that. So at 20, that's no longer an excuse. Then you can do your own thing. Because before they were dishonoring me. I can't, then if I was the pastor and I did it, and the parent told me I don't want them doing it, I can't do that. I'm not allowed to do that. Because they're the authority over them. I can't do that. So if they're 20, and then they say, I want to do it on my own, that's different. But if they're younger and I don't hear the parents saying that, I don't know what I don't know, and I do it, and the parent shows up later on and says, but I didn't want that to happen. Well, I didn't know that. I only know what I know. I don't know. So, but it's about, again, knowledge and ability. So if I knew the parent was against it and I did it, then I'm wrong. If I didn't know and I did it, then I'm not wrong on that. That's the kid's fault. He didn't tell me. He or she didn't tell me. That's on them, you know. I didn't. So it's all about direct accountability or authority as the parent over you from 0 to 20. You reach 20, the parent goes to indirect at that point, and then God becomes a direct authority over you at that point. That's why the age of accountability, people confuse it as a baby issue. It's not. It has to do with a maturity issue, not an infancy issue of coming to know Jesus. No, it's an adult issue of knowing who God is when you're having to answer from Him now, directly. No longer can you use your parent. I can't use my abusive home life. At 20 years old and afterwards, there's a reason I don't treat my husband right, or wife right, or kids right. You know, I can't do that. Well, I mean, I don't have a wife. So you can't say, I do this because it's my parent. I can't. I may struggle with that, which I do, but it's not an excuse. I can't use that as an excuse. I can't do that. And I can't go, God, you understand it. I understand that you haven't learned. He's going to say to me, that's son, you haven't learned. What have you? I told you when you were 20 onward, you answered to me. There's no more of this excuse stuff. You better start learning how to gain benefits and blessings from that, because the curses and the consequences and the pain and the anguish, as much as I'm going to love you through it, stop using it as a reason to not do this, and do that, and not do this, and do that. Stop it. That is wrong. I can't do that. But people do. They do it all the time. They go to a psychologist to get, confirmation that's okay. No, it's not okay.
Yeah.
It's not okay. It's understandable, but it's wrong. It's wrong, it's wrong, it's wrong. When you're 20 and older, you cannot use what happened to you as a reason.
But that also means that you can step away from a situation that's always complicated. Yeah, like with you, like where you constantly always trying to fix the relationship. You step away more than try.
I would, so you don't, okay, I realize that you're new to knowing my past, so I was an introvert, hard to believe. I didn't talk much, again, hard to believe, and I didn't sing much, I didn't do much, I was just always introvert, like a little clam. It wasn't until my junior year in high school where I came out of my shell. And because a guy kept, I was 6 foot and change, got me like 200-something pounds. kept flicking my ear, kept flicking my ear, kept flicking my ear. I'm supposed to be a friend. In the second year, when a friendship from being sophomore to not being, sophomore to junior, and I just snapped. And I just went off, and I was like all soaking wet, 130 pounds, soaking wet. And he was like 200 pounds. He was definitely a good freshman on his way. I didn't care. I just violently, I'm not going to repeat what I said because it's not nice, but I said some ugly things, and at that point I didn't care if I died. I didn't care. My life was already a hell at home, so why would I care? So, but I made a statement to him about that effect. I said, either you would kill me, or this ends now. And he looked at me, and I was just on this crazy look in my eye, like a mad dog with rabies. And he just looked at me, and I didn't care. I just didn't care anymore. But I said, unless you're prepared to kill me, just know that this stops now. And he looked at me, you're crazy. And I go, maybe so, but this stops now. And after that, I was like walking on sunshine. The next day down the hallway, every football player, everybody who was big and wrestler, everybody, this was like Moses, the hall just split now. I was like, this is sweet, you know. I didn't know that word got around was psycho. I didn't know that. So that's what they say, he's a psycho, you know. So I'm like, okay, whatever. But then that was my junior year. And then the senior year, I was midway through that year. And then senior year, that I really enjoyed the whole year being out of my shell. That I was just like, it was just different. People looked at me differently. No one picked on me ever again. It was just weird. So it taught me a lot about sticking up for yourselves. And I said some threatening things and acted that way, but I didn't do anything other than, you know, push them against a lot of force, a lot of anger, and a lot of like mad dog look in my eye. But that changed everything. So my point is, from junior year past, I was like, what, 16 years old? From 0 to 16 as a kid, I didn't say anything. I didn't want to try to fix anything. I was just trying to understand what's going on. And I removed myself, and I'd hear the banging or the hitting or the screaming or the shouting. And I'd be around you. I wanted to get away. I climbed up. I was introverted. I was scared. That's why to this day, if I see confrontation, violence, physically, I don't engage. Some guys act like their testosterone kicks in. Oh. No, I don't do that. If I see that, I pull away because of my upbringing. I don't want to be engaged in that at all. I just don't want to be engaged in it, which is why I believe in the right to own a gun. I just don't want to own one myself. Because of all people in the family, just to indict myself again. My brothers and sisters say I'm the one with the biggest amount of anger and temper. Of all 13 of us, I'm the one with the biggest anger and temper. So I think, okay, I'm coming to realize that. So I don't want to have a weapon that could take someone's life on my hip side or the house. And knowing that a part of who I am, I don't want that to come. I know I have Christ in my life, I get all that, but I'm also a sinner. And I don't want to have access to something that could end someone's life. I don't want it. I believe in your reason to have it. You can come to our house and have it, that's fine. I want to learn how to shoot a gun, I'm not afraid of a gun. I've shot a gun, I want to learn how to shoot guns. I want to learn how to handle a weapon, I want to learn how to discharge a weapon, clean it, load it. I have no problem with any of that. I just don't want to carry one or own one that I can reach and grab. I don't want them. I don't want any access to something against someone's life. I don't trust people. I know myself. People say, oh, you're a cop out. No, it's like a person who was maybe addicted to drugs or whatever. And they go, I don't want to have that. I can't even take Xanax, man. It just gives me addictions. I know addictions. Okay. Well, then you know what I'm talking about. I'm not addicted to violence. I just don't want that to come out. It's in my DNA from my dad. Then my symptoms all concur on the biggest anger problem. Why would I want that two facts to then lead to me not thinking that could be not a good answer if I have one? I don't want to take that chance. Now maybe God's bigger than me, not maybe, He is bigger than me, and He'll help me not to do that. Sure. I just want to take a chance. I'm going to be wise and not be around it, that's all. But I do want to know how to do it. I'm not scared of it. Having one. You pull one out and me showing how to use it, that's fine. I'm not scared of it. I just don't want to own one, that's all. That's just me. Yeah.
They're having a little bit of trouble hearing the clarity of your words online.
Okay. I'm not sure why that would be.
Todd said, does anyone else have a hard time hearing Preston's words as far as clarity? Seems like it's been getting to hear the pronunciation of his words harder to hear.
Sorry about that.
And Jim said there's a clarity issue. He's using his TV filters to help.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know about that, so I'm sorry about that. Sometimes the audio, but plus don't forget to, every time we do a study and an ambulance or fire truck goes by. As soon as you hear that, it interferes with our signal. And as soon as that happens, it changes the quality from that point on.
Yeah, that's happened a couple times
Then
this morning.
I can't change that at that point. We're stuck. By God's mercy, unfortunately, I don't know how to fix that. I'm not that smart, sorry. So if someone is, let me know. I'm happy to listen. I just don't know.
Vicky said, yes, I have, so.
But anyway, so we're coming up on the end of time here today, so the main thing about our lesson was to continue to kind of get this foundation, understanding of, this is what it means just to have the core foundation of a mature one. So of all the things we've talked about for the last couple of weeks, you're thinking, well, that sure is a lot. Yeah, that's just to be in the 30 fruit yield foundation. Let alone to go up to 60 and 100. That's, we haven't even gotten there yet. So just kind of get that, kind of soak that in for a second. So this is how difficult it is to be viewed as, or to be deemed as, or to be counted as a mature one. You have to at least be understanding what this means and have an aim for living this way. It's not easy. Yes?
And Jim said, no worries, I can understand you, Preston.
I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I'm purposely now talking slower to enunciate, but I do have a very big tendency when I get emotionally engaged or passionately engaged, I'll talk very fast. And if you're Pentecostal, you're like, oh, he's speaking in tongues. But that's not what's happening. Not what's happening. I can assure you, not what's happening.
And
So-
then Todd said, and then speed up your delivery.
Very true, very true. I have a tendency of doing that, and it's a faux pas of mine. Sorry about that. I'll have to continue to work on that. So I try to catch myself, but sometimes I miss myself. Thanks for reminding me. Yeah, I think it's more so me than it is the audio in this case. But I think the audio didn't help than earlier.
And Todd said 100% better when you slow up and enunciate your words.
Yeah, I know. If you go back, you know what's interesting is if you go back to Friday's lesson, you'll see a really slow, and then a half an hour in, it kind of changes. You'll notice that. I certainly do. So you'll see that if you watch Friday nights. So anyway, so with all this being said, we're going to take into next Friday. We'll begin to get some background into this a little bit, and then go into this again on Sunday. And the idea about this is to continue to build the understanding of what it means to live as a mature person and grow in that maturity, the reality of what Christ expects from us. Yes?
And Jim said he's just so excited.
Yeah, but you know, that's not much good if you can't understand what I'm saying, that's for sure. All right, so, hey, I gotta get better. So let's close it in prayer, and we will convene again next Friday. Father, we thank you for this time we've had together again with you. Thank you for showing us an insight to you, your word, and understanding of what you have to say to us about how we are to live and understand how to be more mature in our faith. Help us to be corrected and edified in what we're doing right, and to remind us to continue to do that with the right reason and the right way. And when we're not doing things the right way or for the right reasons, help us to be corrected and brought back into the way, path of righteousness for your name's sake. So we thank you so much for all you continue to give, provide, and sustain us with. Thank you for your ongoing love and support. Help us have a good week together as we go out into this world, remembering you are always there before us, and you're walking in your will. You're already waiting for us to get to that next moment. You've been waiting there. You're already there. As time unfolds before us, and we make the right choices, and live and serve, and ask all this. Father, in Jesus, Yeshua's name. Change this back here real quick. Did you hear what I was saying?
No.
Did I talk too fast live? It's probably just on the video.
It's probably video live, yeah.
Yeah.